Well, I came to Drury in the fall of 1997 as a faculty member, and I was told that there was a small number of people who were just institutions at the place, and Robin Roy was one of those people.
I think that Dr. Roy knows that he changed my life.
He had the sense that people could do something extraordinary. He kept talking to whoever it was, not just me, but others around him, about the extraordinary things they were going to do, whether it be go to med school and become a great doctor, or be a scientist, or be a great research scientist. He never had it in his notion that our education ended at Drury. There was something beyond, and something that we were going to do that was going to be great. If people coach you up like that, and they keep telling you that you can do it, and they give you reward systems that you do well, and they tell you you're doing well, after a while, you might even start to believe it, and that actually happened to me. I felt like by the end of the time that I got coached up from Dr. Roy, I thought I was going to go conquer the world. And it didn't start out like that, I assure you.
If you were to talk with students several years after they graduated and ask them to identify the faculty member or two that really profoundly shaped what they do, particularly if they were working in the sciences, it wouldn't be necessarily the faculty members who just taught them the stuff. All of us teach the stuff. I think what Rabindra was able to do far better than most is to indicate to them what it takes to actually do science, to reduce the amount that we don't know, and reducing the unknown and helping us understand the natural and chemical world and the processes that make it work, I think is his special bit of genius.
He changed my life because he helped me become a dedicated worker and a dedicated student. Before coming to Drury, I did my homework and I wasn't really concerned about what it was teaching me. But after Dr. Roy gets a hold of you, you are concerned about what you're learning and how you're going to apply it in your life.
He started to mentor me and tell me that I could go on and be a professor. Once that was kind of, and he not only thought I could be one, he looked for professors that I could go work with. And the professor that I went to work with was a person he had a relationship with. Then after I was there, he followed up by writing letters to find out how I was doing. And what I didn't know, he'd written a couple letters to my professor to find out how I was doing. And then, and for me professionally, this is kind of over the top, but when I finished my PhD and I was thinking about what my next steps were going to be and what life I was going to live, I wanted to be a professor. That's what I really wanted to do. Everything had gelled together. And he was chair of the Department of Chemistry at the time and worked hard to get me a position at Drury. So the entire trajectory of my professional career was not only influenced and inspired by, but guided by Dr. Roy. I am probably, I might be holding up a sign on 65 Expressway or something if Dr. Roy hadn't been in my life. Work for food.
I think Rabindra is probably at his best when he's working directly with students in the laboratory, teaching them the science as they do the science along the way. And I think that mentorship role was recognized when he was named the most influential undergraduate research mentor by the American Chemical Society, not in Missouri, not in the Midwest, but in the United States. And that's impressive.
Well, I've been here for about 2.5 years. The first semester and first summer I was a student, we call it. After about 200 physical hours of research, you can become what's called a group leader. So you take kind of a leadership and an educational role. I really appreciate it from a teaching aspect. I actually get to kind of pass on some of my knowledge to somebody else, and I think that's the best way to learn something, is to really teach it to somebody else. Besides that, it gives me a lot of experience that could be used to apply like elsewhere. I'm trying to go to medical school here pretty soon, and I've also had the chance to be published and I think we've got several more papers kind of waiting in the wings.
There were students from very small towns or from large cities who had come here thinking they wanted to major in science, etc., but probably never contemplated contributing to the production of scientific knowledge. And those very same students, within a couple of years, could easily have been doing poster sessions at the American Chemical Society, speaking to an audience of professional chemists, and not just holding their own, but actually earning respect.
I think the expectation for the faculty when they're hired here is that they will involve students and engage them in these mentorship opportunities that we call research. That's what we do now. But he, more than anyone, had the influence to push us in that direction.
I remember the first time Rabindra came into the office, and he and Protima were talking about a project that they had emerging in Durgapur, West Bengal, India, Hemshila Model School. And it was a jaw-dropping moment in a lot of ways. The magic of what they've created, a school from nothing in honor of their parents, now has grown to more than 2,000 students that perform at the very top of the Indian examinations every year.
What makes Dr. Roy different is that he's a humanitarian, and humanitarians give not out of surplus, but out of their need. I think what struck me the most about my visit there was the children, how committed they were to their education, how serious the students were, and the joy of learning that was there. I thought, golly, this is different. This feels totally different. These kids are in love with education, and they're hungry to learn, and they know it's not an entitlement, it's a privilege.
And they've done it against some cultural barriers where we, in this country, we think that it's okay to give gifts of money for things like that. It's not as easy in India to build resources like that their family is willing from a wide section to donate money to build that kind of school is extraordinary.